we're going to take a look at your tests for your VITA. You will need to do at least the basic. Now, before you can do the basic, you have to do your volunteer standards of conduct test, which is fairly easy. When you get your 6744 booklet, it has the questions and information you need, and you should have no troubles with that, but you have to do that one first. Then there's the intake interview sheet test, and again, that one's fairly easy. There's training materials available, and it shouldn't take you very long to do that one either. Then you have to do your basic test. Now that's one in which there are multiple scenarios, and you have to determine what the answer. They give you the scenario and they give you a questions, or some of them are multiple choice, some of them are true false, some of them are fill in the blank. And for some of them, you have to actually, to be able to get the answer, you really need to fill out the tax return. And they give you the practice lab in which you can fill that tax return out. Okay, so we're going to need also the publication 4012. And so you can, that's one you can get right on the IRS website in the search box. Oopsie, I misspelled it. Now your publication 4012 is very helpful. It's made for VITA, and there's your table of contents. It's got a lot of good flow charts and things. Also shows you how to put stuff into the tax layer, which is what the practice lab uses, that software, and it's also the software that you'll be using for VITA. So as we need to look things up, we have use of this. When you go to the VITA site, if you actually physically going, or if you're going to do things remotely, you need to have access to this. I have a printed version you can pick up when you pick up your testing materials, but you can also get this online, as I have just done as well. Okay, so now let's say we wanted to get into the testing. So I'm going to go back into IRS. I'm going to go into this search box, and I'm going to go link and learn. That brings you to a page where it says link and learn taxes right on there. You click on that. Here it says it again. You click on it again. And you get into this page where there's VITA Central. There's also some additional resources if you just want the practice lab there, whatever. Okay, so you can click on this VITA TCE Central link, and it takes you to where you need to log in. Okay, just have to remember. Okay, my username is actually my email. Okay, and this will take you to where the exams are. Now, it comes up on the circular 230, which if you were doing tax returns, also for a place where you need to do the testing, for circular 230, which is responsibilities of tax repairs. For VITA volunteers, you don't need that, so you don't need to go to that. You will go into this basic tab here. And so it shows the volunteer standards of conduct, and it will not let you take any of these other exams. You have to take that volunteer standards of conduct, okay? And it will then, once you get done, it'll show your score. If you haven't done it yet, it won't show your score. And then it will also show that, yes, you passed or you didn't pass. You have two opportunities. If you passed, you can click on Print Certificate and print that out. And you should, if you're physically going to the site, you should bring that with you. And even so, it could be that Eric, who runs the Orangeburg site, may want you to send a PDF copy of that certificate. So if you click on it, there is your certificate, and you can go ahead and print it out. Okay. After you get done with the Volunteer Standards of Conduct exam, you are going to do the intake, interview, and quality review exam. And again, once you have the materials, that's not difficult and shouldn't take you very long. And again, 80% is actually passing score, so you need to get at least 80. If you don't get at least 80, then it'll let you try again. And it also shows you which ones you got wrong. It doesn't tell you what the right answer is, but it does show you which ones you got wrong. So you can go back in and specifically look those up and try to figure out, you know, what the correct answer is before you go back in there the second time. Once you've done it the second time, then, and you still don't get at least an 80, then you're shut down. We can have a way to get around that if we absolutely have to, but it'd be better if you just studied enough, made sure that your answers are good for you to be able to get at least the 80. Again, these first two ones are not that difficult. And again, you could print out your certificate. The next one it shows down is the site coordinator exam. None of us are the site coordinator. That would be Mr. Eric Powell. He is the site coordinator for the Orangeburg site. So none of us need to take that exam. And you would then click on the basic exam. When you click on an exam, it comes up, and then if you haven't already passed it, there will be a little blue link here that says launch, and you can click that, and that will start the actual exam for you. All right, in fact, if I went onto this site coordinator, I could, you can see the launch, and it will go ahead and launch the exam. And then it comes to the spot where you can start the assessment, which I'm not going to do. Okay. So at this point then, once you have, here's my base, once you have passed these three things, then you can go over here to the right and you want to complete your volunteer agreement, okay? And you'll need to print that page, okay? So up here, you can click to say that you're going to electronically sign, which is what I did. I clicked there, and then you can click here. This brings up the volunteer agreement. This is a contract, okay? So you're signing this. You're signing that you're going to follow those standards of conduct, and you are not going to take money. You're going to treat everybody fairly, no matter who they are, and you are not going to give out anybody's personal information. Okay, so this is the contract that you're signing. Okay, and here it has your information and shows, you know, which exams you passed, etc. And this, you must give a copy of this to Mr. Powell, the site coordinator. He has to have a copy of every one of these contracts for every volunteer. And you should also keep one for yourself as well. Okay, down here it says if you want to review the Volunteer Standards of Conduct course, you can click here to review the course in PDF format, or here is the intake and interview and quality review training if you want to review that before you actually take the exam. Okay, when you have originally got onto this VITA Central page, I went straight in and signed in. If you have not yet created an account, you would want to do that. Okay, and here are some tutorials. Okay, here's some various links, training guides in PDF format. Here's certification tests. Oh, yes, this is good. Seem to be wanting to come up, but for me right now. But here is where your test questions are, the scenarios and the various questions that go with this. Again, I have a print version, which, given that it's not wanting to come up easily, you would probably want that print version. Okay, then you can spend as much time as you want going through it. And I'm also making a video going through what information you need and where you need to find it. Okay, so here's some lessons and training guides. There's the scenarios and questions. Here's the practice lab. Here's Volunteer Standards of Conduct training. And here's intake, interview, and quality review training. So you can click on it there, or you can click on it on that other page that I already showed you. Okay, our next video will take a look at using the practice lab.